Yeah, so here's a bit of an update on the 180. It's been about a year since I filmed one of these, and the car's been going pretty good. I did about 4 events, 4 drift practice days in the last year or so, but at the last one I drove, I had a wee couple of issues and then pulled the car apart and sort of got distracted with some other two-wheel projects, but we're just getting back into it now, getting it all pieced back together. So yeah, the main reason it's all pulled back apart again was I had a GK Tech viscous fan fail on me. Just about tore up my new coil rad. I think it'll survive. It doesn't seem like there's any leaks in it. But yeah, it caused a massive vibration, and so I put it on the trailer early. I wasn't quite sure what had happened. It wasn't real obvious in the pits that one of the blades had come off, so I was a bit worried that it was the flywheel. So because the flywheel had been in the car for like 10 years, so I thought I'll pull it all apart and inspect the clutch and flywheel and replace the clutch fan as well. So, and when I pulled the gearbox out, I found that the bell housing where it had been welded, the Z32 gearbox with a SR bell housing had been welded on, and just over the years of stress and vibration, some of the welds had cracked. So I've had that V'd out and re-welded and plated up. So hopefully that lasts a bit longer. I did been running these solid engine and gearbox mounts, which was probably a bit hard on everything with the vibrations. So we've gone back to some normal hardened rubber engine mounts on there. There's also just a normal hardened rubber mount for the gearbox so that it matches the rubber mounts on the engine. There's the clutch and flywheel. It still seems to be in pretty nice condition, so that's all good to go back on the car. I was a bit worried. You hear stories of these coming loose and tearing themselves to bits, but everything seems pretty good. This clutch was a custom made one by a guy in the North Island, and it's a pretty crazy heavy clamp for for a solid centre single plate, but bit overkill for my power, but it's holding up nicely. Yeah, as usual, when you start taking things apart, you find all these little issues, and I found there was just a tiny weep of water getting out of those pipes there, just where there was a bit of corrosion, and the rubber, they're all new rubber hoses, but they just was a little bit of corrosion got under it, and it was just dripping out. So I've used the little bit of RTV to help seal it up. I changed my front wheels recently, so I found a pair of R33 GTR style wheels, but they're only 8 inches wide. Offset's only plus 40, so I just need to get some different spaces, some bigger spaces, so that I can get that clearance back on the inside that I need. And yeah, the other thing is just giving it a bit of a birthday, so I picked up this GP Sports G4. Assume it's a copy body kit that's been, I found it locally here in Christchurch. It's actually quite nice condition, fits up pretty good on my bent old car. The only thing is the left side skirt's been cut out a bit, so I'll have to get that piece back together. And yeah, a bit of an excuse to actually tidy up the panel work as well, bog over the dents. So the engine overall was running really great. So with the S14 hybrid rocker cover and the catch can that really stopped any of the oil use and the smoking that it used to do before the refresh year and a half ago, and everything's running great with the link and the new timing kit. So just got to stop it leaking and shaking itself to bits, and should be good. So here's this left side skirt, which has got some pieces been cut out of it, and my attempt at trying to repair it. So I started with making a little plug off the factory little TypeX front pod bit of the side skirt. I just covered it in sellotape and sprayed some silicone over it, and just basically put two sheets of fiberglass over it to get the rough shape. And yeah, a little bit of cutting, hopefully that'll fill the spot in there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this as a mould, or probably more likely just try and trim it down and attach it on there. Here's the repaired side skirt. Got a little bit of resin in behind that tape there, so I'll have to sand that back. On this bit there, it fits really tight against the guard, the rear guard, so to fiberglass on the outside instead. Had a bit of work on the metal flares on the rear there, just tidying them up. All the previous bog was all cracked from reshaping them, so I took it back to the metal and tried to just smooth it out. Front guard off. And the other side. And here's the front guard. Previously I've made some weld on some metal flares there. Here's the first bit of body filler on the rear guards, and also adding a bit more fiberglass into the rocker or sill panel there to replace what had been cut out. Some paint on the bumpers and side skirts. So we got some paint on the guards. I just rattle canned it in the end. I sort of run out of time, and as usual never quite comes out as good as you'd hope, but at least it's kind of all one colour. So I bought a brand new genuine radiator cooling fan. I did have a couple of spare clutch fans that I just had in stock, but they're just a bit old, and I didn't really trust them anymore. Some of the plastic's a bit those sort of stress marks and discoloration, and this other one actually had a wee crack in there as well. So yeah, hopefully should do the trick. Last a bit better than the GK Tech one. And just when I thought I was done with mechanical stuff, got the inlet manifold off again. Coolant on the ground. And I was pressure testing the coolant system for leaks, and my little pipes in there were leaking again. But I think I found what the culprit was, and it was this hose clamp here. It's got a nice chunky meaty hose clamp, but it's quite a in there's quite a lip, so I think when you tighten it, it leaves a bit that doesn't have much clamping pressure, and it was leaking past there, which was the original cause of the leak as well. So yeah, I've just put a softer, I put two softer style hose clamps on, and it seems to be holding up pretty well. It's had 20 psi of pressure in through the overflow hose. Not a drip anymore, so hopefully. Alright, got the engine all buttoned back up. Inlet manifold back on, radiator fan on.